Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our healing sessions. Thank you to everyone who has taken the time to respond to the email, who have sent me your full moon shift wishes, and welcome to experiencing perhaps maybe your first distance session or healing with me in general. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Masha Watson. I have been a healer for 20 plus years, and it's my honor and pleasure to be connecting and holding this space for us today. So, um, a little bit about um, kind of the systems or what I use. So, I've been studying um, alternative medicine for since I was 19, and it's been a passion of mine. And so, a main modality that I use is called Body Talk, and it's kind of my fundamental system that I use for a few reasons. A, it's a consciousness-based medicine, so it allows us to address the body as a whole. It also allows us to be able to do work at a distance and expands our vision of our power of observation of how the body operates and functions. So we're able to do distance sessions. We working as a group actually creates a bigger momentum and a shift. And and with Body Talk, it allows me as a practitioner to ask the groups that priorities, ask you as an individual, what are your priorities? So it's a non-ego, agenda-based modality based on we ask your innate wisdom as to what it wants to balance, what level it wants to balance, creating a recipe or formula. It's very safe, non-invasive, and very effective. And so with that system, though, if there is another modality that I know that is a priority, or if it's another um, system, whether it's a doctor or another practitioner, it will actually refer us out. So this is why I love using this as my base system, is because if there's another modality that is most or better suited for you at that time, then it will actually guide and direct me versus me as a practitioner guessing or feeling my way through. We use our biofeedback to allow that to guide us. So welcome to today's session. Um, while you're listening to this, there's no right or wrong. You could be multitasking, you could be walking, you could be doing dishes, listening, you're still going to receive and shift. You may want to take more of a time creating a ritual for yourself, which is kind of part of today's fall into alignment day is creating rituals. So you may want to just set aside maybe half hour before bedtime to put your earbuds in and use this as a healing meditation for yourself. Um, or however it may work for you. So there's no right or wrong. You will have the recording as well. So you can re-listen to this as often as you choose. So this is the primary bulk of my clients is distance and audios is so that they can re-listen to it and have it on file to replay and create a ritual with their receiving of however it works for them. So when you're hopping on, I invite you to simply, if there's something specific you want, you can pop it in the chat. If not, we will just trust innate to guide us through the session. So, an in person session, those of you who come will do the biofeedback with your hand or your arm to guide us through the session. Seeing that I'm doing it from a distance, I use the biofeedback. You won't be able to see, I use my leg muscle as my feedback to get my yes and no response for the collective group. Okay, so welcome. Bringing your awareness into your breath. Allow your breath to guide you to a place of stillness. Wherever that stillness may be, don't judge it. Just breathe into it, give it life, feel it, flow through it. So, those of you who have sent me an email, I have your agendas, your priorities, things that you desire to shift and change. So, whether you had sent it to me or not, I do invite you at some point to just tune in with yourself and be like, okay, let's take a look at what am I truly wanting to release? What repetitive cycles and patterns are you ready to break free from? And so this full moon, it's in Aries, and it's really taking a look at the deeper childhood wounds. What are the deeper wounds inside that are ready to release, to break free? So, and also, how are these wounds influencing your relationship with others and how are others able to relate and connect to you. So there's this harmonizing of our relationships with others and ourselves from our childhood wounds. So what wounds can we release and heal so we can shift our perspective and interact with our relationships differently? Okay, so that's the theme of this full moon that we're in right now. So let's just see where our priorities are, and it allows us to guide us. So permission's a priority is no. So this is the thing I really love is that before we even start a session, we need to ensure that it is safe, that I'm as a practitioner clear, ready to observe the session, but also confirms that it is safe and you as a client is willing and ready to receive a session as well. So that's kind of an honoring of am I in the right place? To observe, and are you right and ready to receive? Okay, so we are all green light where it's good to go. Okay, so I have these charts memorized. So as you hear my language, it might sound a little bit um, foreign, but I do have them hanging up on a separate wall. But there, it's here. So it's the language of healing through our systems. So our very first priority is working with the lymphatic system. So our lymphatic system is like our back alley cleanup system. And the only way for our lymphatic system to move is through the pressure system of our breath and the muscle movement through the body. So there's no organ that pumps or can move lymph. So if we're not breathing, if we're not moving, we're going to have stagnant fluid build up in the body. So we'll have maybe swelling, there might be bloating, whatever that may look like. So we're going to do work with lymph. Ironically, the moon also controls the water tides. So, when the full moon, the tide gets bigger and higher, and as the full moon decreases, the water rises back out. So there's a natural kind of pulse with our internal water flow, fluid flow with a full moon. So we're going to bring in the full moon to support this flushing and cleansing and movement of our lymph fluid. Now, our lymphatic system will also intimately interactive and has awareness with our immune system. So around our self-worth and our value. Okay, so there's just this subtle vibration of awareness to our self-esteem and our self-worth. Okay, so everything in our body. So we have the physical body that has its function. So when we go to the Western medicine, they got the physical body. Then we have our vital body, our energetic body, and that is going to naturally flow. So every organ and endocrine and body part is going to have an emotion, an energy in motion, the vital body that's associated with it as a filing system. And um, so when we don't process and digest our emotions, our body becomes a filing system for emotions. So this is our next part that we're going through is that there is a buildup of emotion stored within the lymphatic system. So we're just going to explore fear, worry, sadness. So there's sadness, which is like the heart crying. Of course, if we're working with water, it's going to be the tears. What tears and sadness are we storing within the lymphatic system? So we're going to go through, stimulate the lymphatic system, and do an emotional release, saying, okay, let's release some of this stagnant sadness within the body. Further on the sadness is no, and there's a linking to another emotional release. No, back up to section 1. Essential gel balancing to the switching technique. So switching is working with our stress threshold. So when we have our stress threshold, when our stress threshold's too low, we will begin to feel stress really easily. Our ability to handle and manage stress is poor. So we're in overreaction mode, we're triggered mode. If life is feeling overwhelmed, we can't make good decisions. We maybe start eating and we start behaving and doing things, overspending, all these things when our stress threshold is too low. We just feel stressed. So we're actually going to normalize so there's two ways. So it could be too low or it could be too high, where it's like, oh my goodness, we've been handling and managing way too much stress, and our body isn't able to shut down. It's not coming down into heal and repair mode. It's like stuck on high drive and burning the tires and kind of doing a brake stand at the same time. And so sometimes we need to lower it to bring it back into the reset to heal and repair mode. So we're working with this stress threshold. So whether it's too high or too low, so now there's going to be a variable. So however, within our group, if you're stuck on too high, and when it's too high, it's like you'll work all day and you won't go to the bathroom. You're not drinking your water. You're not like engaging into break time. You're just in overdrive, overgoing. So if you're too high, you might start noticing, oh, geez, I can breathe. I'm gonna have a break today. Oh, I got lunch. And then your other way, if you're feeling too stressed, you might be noticing, geez, I can handle manage the day. It's not that hard. Feeling more ease and grace through that. So we're going to normalize our stress threshold. And in doing that, so it looks like this. So we have 6 muscles that hold the eye in place. And so the hand positioning is to hold those, put a little bit of pressure to stretch those muscles. Those muscles store our stress patterns. So as we stretch them, then they start to fess up to the brain. Oh yeah, I'm storing my stress here. This is stressful. I'm holding stress. This creates stress, and blah, blah, blah. The whole story of stress gets stored in those eye muscles. So, and then we have 2 points. Um, if you take your fingers to the center of your collarbone, slide them out about an inch and a half, slide them down about an inch and a half, 2 inches, you'll feel little hollow grooves. These are our kidney 27 meridian points, and they work with our stress threshold. So if you are listening to this or see me here, you can stimulate these 2 points. Generally, if we are stressed, these are going to be tender. And usually after we tap out this formula, you can go recheck them and the tenderness will be gone. That's notice that there's a reset that's happened. Okay, so we're going to do a nice reset. Let's see if there's any specific variables that are triggering the stress. So now we're going to identify what in the external environment is blowing our breakers of stress. So we have money, we have work, and emotion. Further on emotion, fear. Further on fears, no. So we have money, work, and fear. And then we're going to do relationships. Is our four. So we have four triggers that keep blowing the breakers that we're going to help allow the body to respond to versus react to. Okay, so further on that is no. There another link? Yes, it's a link within EGBs. And the link is to our breathing cycle. So everything rocks with our breath. Okay, so as you breathe, there's an expansion and a contraction. We feel that within the lungs, we feel that within the rib cage, expansion, contraction. So that plays a big role in our digestive system, but also, as we said earlier, the lymphatic system, that pressure system is going to enhance the flow and the movement of lymph fluid. When we breathe, the scanning of the brain is enhanced. So the brain can scan and read what's going on in the body and support the heal and repair of that. Okay. So further on the breathing cycle, no, so everything rocks. So as we breathe, your pelvis will tilt forward. As you exhale, it rocks back. And so there's all these interconnected movements with our breath. The diaphragm expands and contracts. So we're creating this rhythm, this flow. Okay, further on that, no. So we're going to tap this all up. So we're going to tap. So with Body Talk, we do a tapping series to get the brain out of the old way of thinking. Say, hey, brain, see these changes? Let's correct them. Let's make this new way of thinking, seeing life. Tap the heart to allow the heart to start us as a new memory, a new way of being, letting go of the old story, the old identities attached to this. And then we tap the navel for the gut brain. So we have the three brains, the thinking brain, the heart brain, and the gut brain. Okay. Is that link still a priority? No. Further session? Yes. Okay. Section one. So we're going to an active memory. So an active memory means there's been something that has happened that the body hasn't fully synthesized. So the memory of whatever we're going to surface is still active. It has a charge. And so that means it's being stored in the body somewhere. We'll identify that later. And so that means the body, wherever it's stored, isn't able to function optimally because it's got to share its energy source with this memory. So now when we're feeling tired, exhausted, and drained, it's like, what stories, what memories, what beliefs does our body have to feed its energy source to hold on to? That if we can heal and release and see it, it can then allow that area of the body to regenerate and have its energy source back again. But also, then that memory becomes a passive memory so you can remember it. The wisdom of that event can be synthesized, and then we can evolve and grow and beyond. So, a lot of time when we're not shifting or changing or growing, we have memories and beliefs that we're stuck in that need to be seen, to be opened, to be able to create space to move forward and to evolve. So, we're going to take a look at an active memory, a lifetime period. Age 3 to 6. And we're working with in relationship to parents and this longing for approval. So really as a baby, as we evolve, it's very natural for us to look at mom and dad and look at their feedback to learn what is right, what is wrong. Am I safe? Am I in danger? Based on their feedback to you. But so there's this pattern, and it's between this 3 and 6. So it's going to be variable for everybody here. So at whatever timeline, it's going to shift uniquely for you. But the theme is seeking others' approval, of seeking approval to feel safe. And so we're wanting to shift that into the natural experience of safe within yourself to express yourself versus needing the conditioning or the feedback loop from your external environment saying yay or nay. Okay, so and this is a natural transition as we grow as kids. That's how we learn as to what's safe, what's not safe, what are our boundaries. So, in order to learn or become who we are, we have to undo who we think we are. So this is, a little bit of philosophy. It's like becoming aware of who did we think we needed to be? Who do we think we are? And as we can release that, we get to create this space of beingness without even thinking. So I always like to think of doing work like this. It's like we all come into the world like a bright light bulb. And as our natural process of humanness is to have identities. Oh, it's a girl, it's a girl. And then all of the thoughts and beliefs and experiences of it being a girl or a boy. So you'll hear the people's responses and feel the environment of friends and family. What does that mean? And we start feeding and gathering and collecting this information. And then as we start getting more curious and more engaged, we begin to have these layers of who we think we are, what we need to do, what is right, what is wrong, what do I need to do to please mom, what do I need to do to please dad. And all these things are like layers that go over top of this light bulb of thinking this is who I need to be. This is what I need to do in order to evolve and be and survive in this world. Until the day like today, we get curious and say, this isn't working. And so we start to peel the layers off of the light bulb. And when the light bulb peels away, the light's there. So we always have this individual natural vitality, life light shining. But the dimmer we feel, it's the stories that are dimming. So the more we can get curious and heal and release the stories, our light shines brighter. And so you'll have a glow and you'll feel light and you'll be expressing yourself differently without even having to think it. And so this is what we're doing with these active memories. It's like, okay, let's take a look at age 3 and 6. What did I hear? What did through my five senses, what did I perceive, know, and be that I thought I had to be in order to evolve or to feel safe and loved and accepted? And we're going to start releasing that. And as we work with mom and dad, this is going to be releasing our relationship internally with our masculine and feminine. And so as we start shedding those layers, then that masculine and feminine, the Idam Pangala, get to dance more harmoniously throughout the body, to feed the body versus feed these stories. Okay, so we're going to run this healing of releasing this pattern for the next 3 days. So you may want to listen to the recording every day for the next 3 days. You don't have to. You can do a technique that we will use called the cortices, which we'll talk about at tap out because we're going to use that as our tap out technique. You can use that technique every morning or every night. However, this may work for you. There's no right or wrong. And if you aren't conscious about it, it is naturally going to ripple. It's going to take in motion as soon as you hear this. Okay, so we're going to do this healing of becoming aware. So you might even want to journal different ways of what did I think I needed to do? Who did I think I needed to be in order to feel accepted by mom and dad? And, even though we learn that from age 3 to 6, we're still functioning like that as adults. All of our belief systems are established by the time we're 11 years old. And so uh, our journey now is to get curious to undo them. And the power to shift is the power of awareness. So it's like these are running in the dark in the subconscious mind. And it's like we're now shining the light. And as soon as the light it's seen, it shifts. We have we become aware. As soon as we have awareness, it encourages or creates empowerment because now we have the power to choose. Okay, am I going to choose to repeat this cycle? Or with my awareness, am I going to choose to heal, repair, and release? Okay, so you might just journal. That's a good journaling question of who do I think I needed to be? What do I continually do in order to feel accepted and loved? So even though it may have stemmed from mom and dad, you might be now in your marriage, it might be now with your kids, it might be in your workspace, with your relationship with money. It could be in any variable in all aspects of life. Okay, so we're going to go back to age 3 and 6 to unravel the patterns, becoming aware of our recipes, our formulas of how we thought we needed to do and be in order to be accepted and to feel safe. Further on this is no. We're going to find out the location. Where is this being stored within an endocrine, more specific? Pineal, pituitary, thyroid, the thymus gland. So the thymus gland sits in the heart complex. And thymus gland in the first 13 years of life, it's very active. It is part of the immune system. It is where the cells go to learn the difference between what cells are natural and normal and healthy in the body and what cells are foreign that we need to learn to put an immune attack and fight off and cleanse out of the body. So that's really busy. It's really active in the first few, 13 years of life of building and developing our immune system. But then as we evolve and we grow, it becomes more philosophical of who am I and who am I not? And so it goes to the cells as well. But what cells, what are are carrying stories and beliefs that we aren't? So there's this deeper cleansing that we're going to start going through the immune system now of who did we think we are? How did we feel that we weren't accepted? What are the beliefs and the memories and emotions of feeling unloved and feeling threatened and in danger or rejected? So all the opposite of kind of what we're working with. So we're going to do a nice immune optimization, a heal, repair of the immune system, and a clarity through the thymus gland to the truth. So it's like, okay, that's anchoring me back to my truth. Who am I? To dissolve the who am I nots. Okay, so this is all started within the thymus gland. Further details on this, no. We're going to tap this up. We're going to use the cortices technique. So this is a really simple, easy technique that I invite you to use anytime. If you're feeling tired, stressed, overwhelmed, you can't sleep, it is my go-to technique. And it looks like this. So you're going to take one hand and you're going to place it on the occipital area and you tap. So imagine your palms linking to your fingertips. So we're linking the left and the right hemispheres of the brain, and we're improving circulation. So this is the technique you can do every morning, every night, however that feels for you, as a reminder of the session. Then you just gonna move your hand up. You can move the same hand, you can put this hand above. There's no right or wrong. And tap out. So as we do this active memory, so as these memories are surfacing and they're coming up to be healed and repaired, instead of being active and depleting and draining the body, we're going to release them, digest and metabolize them. So they become passive memory. You might have this general memory start popping up. So then you're going to keep going all the way down to your eyebrows, tapping. And then both hands on the side of your head, you can take one away and tap, or hold both and then tap. There's no right or wrong. As long as each of those areas of the brain are covered, that's called the cortices technique. Okay, so as you do this healing, you may have random memories or emotions around mom, dad. You might notice shifts and changes within your relationships. You might just start feeling more acceptance of who you are, what life has been. And as these begin to shed, these layers are falling away from the light bulb. You might just start feeling more energized, bright light. You might just feel like you're glowing. Someone might just comment. So just allow yourself to be in that energy of your authenticity, your true nature. Okay. So further, is that link still a priority? No. Further body talk is no. That's the end of today's session. Yes. Any other modalities? There's another modality we're going to do. We're going to use Ho'oponopono. I love Ho'oponopono. So I just want you to think we're going to do Ho'oponopono in relationship to dead self. So I just want you to close your eyes and we're kind of sealing this in with the Ho'oponopono. So I want you to just become aware of maybe your inner child, the age 3 to 6 year old, or just your relationship with yourself now. So just tuning in with your relationship to self. I'm going to repeat the Ho'oponopono mantra a few times. And it goes like this: I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. So it's a Hawaiian mantra, and it's really around forgiveness, being able to give back to self and to cutting the ties of what's no longer serving. What relationships, what patterns have you been contributing to that aren't serving you any longer? So I invite you. So those who've done the wish list, go back to those priorities and sit with them and do Ho'oponopono within your relationship of yourself. Say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we have been engaging and draining and depleting our. I am so sorry that I have been believing that we are not good enough. We're not whatever it is. That I'm sorry for believing that life is stressful and hard and overwhelming. I'm sorry. Will you please forgive me? Thank you. Thank you for being in this with me. Thank you for being on this journey and bringing this peace for healing. Thank you. And I love you. So just feeling your relationship with self, acknowledging you're here now, accepting life as it is, accepting yourself, the gift that you are, and opening yourself up to the healing, the gift of this healing to unravel whatever the stories, the wounds from age 3 to 6 that have been holding you back, that you're ready to release, that you're ready to shine brighter than ever. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Okay, so that could even be home play. If you're ever having a hard time sleeping at night, just bring that stressor in. Whatever that stress is for you at that time, or what's weighing on your mind, or what is the relationship, or whatever it may be. Maybe it's an illness. It's whatever. We all have our stories. Whatever the story is that's playing in the mind, just hold your heart and repeat, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. And that just allows the unraveling, the attachment, the healing, the repairing, and aligning you back to your truth. Excellent. So further body talk is now. That's the end of today's session. So thank you, each and every one of you guys, for tuning in to receive this gift of healing. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. You will get the recording, so feel free to re-listen to this. There's lots of healing over the next few days, so allow yourself the time to re-listen to it. Create a ritual, maybe every night before you go to bed, and whatever feels light and right for you. But allow yourself to receive the gift this can be for you, and to break free from the old cyclical patterns that have been draining and depleting you. So, sending you a hug filled with much love. Thank you. Thank you.